4.8 Day 2, Graphing Quadratic Inequalities on a Number Line. This is the last video notes for Chapter 4. So we have x squared minus 11x plus 30 is less than or equal to 0. Notice there's no y equals here, so we're not graphing a parabola. Okay, instead what we want to do is we want to factor this equation using earmuffs. So blank times blank is 30, blank times blank negative 11, negative 5, negative 6. It's the easier earmuffs because there's just a 1 here. We can jump right to those parentheses. X minus 6 times x minus 5 is less than 0. We're going to put this on a number line. Okay, so we have a number line, we have 2 tick marks, and we're going to put the 2 solutions to these 2 equations on the number line. Okay, make sure the smaller one is on the left, so we have one solution of 5, one solution of 6, and we want circles on this number line that correspond with whatever the sign is. So in this case, we have less than or equal to, so colored in circle, okay? And think back to when we did absolute value inequalities, okay? Less than, think less than, and is the middle. Greater than, think great or than, that's the outsides. So this is a less than sign, less than, we're going to shade the middle section. When you look at this, there's 2 things that you should notice. First off, we have a coefficient on this x squared, which means that we're going to have to do hard earmuffs, those fractions. Also, I don't like that this is a negative x squared. We can't really do earmuffs when we have a negative x squared. So let's switch the signs on everything. But note that when we switch the signs on everything, this sign has to flip the other way. It's like we're multiplying everything by a negative 1 or dividing everything by a negative 1. So here's our actual equation. We want a positive x squared. We switch the sign to a greater than. Okay, and now we're going to do earmuffs. Blank times blank is 6. Blank plus blank is 5. 2 and 3 are our numbers. And since we have that coefficient that isn't a 1, we have to do the 2 fractions. 2x over 2. This we can simplify, x over 1. This one we can't. Okay, so we make our 2 parentheses. X plus 1, 2x plus 3. And we're going to solve each of those. Right? This is going to give us x equals negative 1. And this one, if we solved it out, would give us x equals negative 3 over 2. All right, smaller one goes on the left. Negative 3 over 2, negative 1. Now we want to draw in our circles. So we have, the sign, because we switched it, greater than, empty circles. Remember, greater than, great or than, or is the outsides. In this last problem, we have a trinomial where we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 8 and add to positive 4. We can go through all the combination of numbers here. I'll save you the trouble. Nothing works. Okay, but there's no solution trinomials. We know a number of different ways that we can solve these, and factoring is just one of them. So instead, we're going to try one of the other methods like completing the square, or in this case, quadratic formula. So we'll plug everything into quadratic formula. Okay, remember when we do quadratic formula problems, we want to do the inside of the square root first. That's the discriminant, and that's going to tell us how many and what type of answers we should get. So here we have 16. After that, count the negatives. 2 negatives, that's going to make a positive, so it'll be a plus. 4 times 1 times 8, 32. Discriminant is 48. That's a positive number, which means we're going to get 2 real answers. This 48 we can break down, 16 and 3, and then that 16 we can break down further. Okay, or we just know that the square root of 16 is 4. So we end up with this right here. This is almost finished, except for the fact that all of these numbers here are divisible by 2, all the numbers outside of the radical sign. So we can divide those all by 2, and we end up with negative 2 plus minus 2 radical 3. Both of those are going to go on the number line as our 2 points. So we have this solution, okay? we have one solution that uses a plus and the other one that uses a minus. Okay, obviously the minus is going to be the smaller one, the plus is going to be the bigger one. So let's put those on our number line. So 3 minus 2 radical 3, 3 plus 2 radical 3. Let's come back up to our sign here. Okay, colored in circles. Less than, we think less than, and is the middle.